What's up YouTube, ODST General back again with another Operation Trebuchet news update video. Today guys, I have some awesome content to show you guys, a lot of cool stuff shared by both the developers of Optre and the community, and we're just going to go ahead and hop into it. So, starting us off, we have a new M6G/C model. This was shown off by Vespade, and it's a pretty slick weapon. Now, of course, we already have this weapon in the game, so it's not the most exciting news this week, unfortunately. For them, but it's still a cool looking weapon. I definitely dig the new model, and of course, you know, these are all part of the tweaks of the weapons overhaul and stuff, so stuff like this is to be expected anyways. Of course, you know, this is just a very basic model. It doesn't have the textures and doesn't have the materials, all that stuff implemented yet, because that's really where you see the biggest differences between the C and G, is both the add-ons to the weapons. So, you know, things like your designator, your like smart link scoping, I should say, or your SOCOM setup for the M6C. Those are the things that really set these weapons apart. And of course, the textures and materials are going to be the other big difference. None of which is on the model yet, so it is basically the same weapon for the C and the G. With that being said, let's go on to the next thing. This was shared by, I believe, Thomas. This is, however, Bacon Shell Scythe, which we have seen a bunch of times in the past. We haven't seen it or heard anything about it in a while. Bacon Shelf has been busy working on Far Isle and kind of a little bit more quiet on the Optre front. So we've just been waiting for his weapon to get configured, which I believe Thomas has been doing more advanced configs and stuff like that, kind of doing the role of Scorch and a couple other people, getting some stuff implemented. And of course, this weapon isn't finalized yet. There is some issues with it, namely the rocking and bouncing all over the place. Obviously, that's not intentional, but other than that, it looks like an absolutely devastating weapons platform. I personally would not want to be on the receiving end of this thing, although I would love to see some players on the receiving end of this thing from a Zeus. I think that would be hilarious. Other than that, though, guys, that's really all I have to say on the scythe here. Very slick looking, very excited for it. However, that brings us to something a little bit more exciting, but a little less tangible, and that is a new piece of concept art that Braz sent me. This is the Bison II. Now, the Bison currently in from Zephyr Souza is going to be getting replaced in some way, shape, or form. I don't know if the old Bison will get removed completely, or if they are going to keep it in and shift it over to either like an insurrectionist faction vehicle or for something for the CMA. I asked Braz about that. He said they just weren't decided yet on what they wanted to do with the old model, so the old Bison may get removed, it may not. If you guys are watching this video, maybe I would suggest, if you have an opinion on what you want to see done with it, head on over to the Optre Discord and, you know, voice your opinion on that, so courteously, of course. I know you guys are usually courteous, but just bear that in mind. So yeah, I know a lot of people want to see the unique insurrectionist vehicle, so that would be a good opportunity. Since the UNSC is going to be getting the Bison II, have them send the Bison 1 over to the Insurrectionist. Now, with that being said, aside from that, there is going to be some differences between the Bison 1 and the Bison 2. Obviously, aesthetically, there's a big difference, but they also want to have better barrel depression. They want to have coaxial set up on this thing, so maybe even possibly a crow system. That's not been fully decided as of right now. Obviously, this is still a concept stage, so no models or anything have been produced from this yet, so it's still a ways off. With that being said, I'm very excited. Obviously, Braz is working on this, and he's got some high-quality models and stuff that he's produced over the time. So, yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled for this. Definitely looking forward to seeing where that project goes. Now, that is everything for the main mod. Then we shift on over to First Contact. Real small news for First Contact this week. And we had a couple control panels shared on the 15th of this month here, November here. And, of course, these are former control panels. I believe we've actually seen the models and stuff for these before. Pretty sure I've shown these off, but nonetheless, we get to see them basically in-game and everything. I don't know, these may have even been slipped into the dev build already. I wouldn't know. They look like they're pretty much ready to go, but I haven't seen the update for the dev build. Of course, I've personally been busy with my own projects, and it just occurred to me to actually check because I didn't even think about how completed these things are and ready to go. Nonetheless, these control panels are a nice addition. They're probably not going to do much functionally speaking. With that being said, they do look like great set pieces, fantastic to have in any Forerunner structure. Kind of a necessity for Forerunner buildings is having Forerunner controls, you know, hard light panels. And that's everything there is to talk about for First Contact. So, we head on over to Community. Starting us off in community, we have a new Mac platform that Dapper has been working on. Pretty sweet piece. Don't know what his plans are ultimately for this thing. Obviously, a Mac platform not very viable for Armor, really. With that being said, it could be a set piece or something if you ever felt so inclined for use with Sanchez's space mod and use that alongside the frigates and stuff. It could be an interesting little piece for pictures and stuff like that, but obviously still not very functional. Unless he intends to upload this to a map and have a map that's basically a giant Mac platform, which would actually be really awesome. I would be excited for that personally. With that being said, though, not much else to say on that Mac platform, so we're going to keep going. Then that takes us over to Ethan. Of course, Ethan was part of the development team. He's no longer an entry dev, unfortunately, but with that being said, he is still slaving away over his Halberd class destroyer, and I'm still very excited for this thing, with the Halberd being one of my favorite UNSC ships overall. Maybe even my favorite UNSC ship. Pretty awesome looking ship. He's made a lot of progress and improvements to the model. He's still continuing to work on the model and chip away at it. With that being said, he's actually gotten a very initial loadout into the game. Still very, very basic. It looks like he had... On the first picture we have here, it looks like he's got the Drake class fitting inside of the back of the Halberd. Just to give you guys a sense of scale of this thing, the Drake class is obviously much smaller than the frigate, but still a very large vessel. And you guys can see just how big the Halberd is compared to the Drake. It's completely fits the Drake inside with room to spare, and a lot of room to spare at that, actually. So that's pretty crazy. Of course, Ethan does want to have interiors and everything for this thing potentially. If not, just use of the modular hallways and stuff at some point will probably be a big thing for a lot of people. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of people making compositions for this thing. He said he has plans to basically release this independently as its own separate mod and everything, so you'll just be able to download this Halberd class and use it. It's going to basically serve the same role as the Drake. Initially, it'll probably feel a little bit closer role to the frigates that we have in the dev build and stuff, and the former frigate that we had from Zero. A cool thing nonetheless. Still very excited for it. Very, very much waiting for it to come out. Still has, obviously, textures, materials needing to be done. Beyond that, it also has a new config that needs to be written up. It's just got a very basic config for getting it into the game, so you can take a look at it in Arma, make sure that there's nothing crazy or zany going on there, and just basically show that progress is being made on it. Alright guys, and that brings us to the last bit of Operation Trebuchet news for this week, and it's a little bit of a self-promotion in this case. So Mr. Potter, who you guys may know from his fantastic composition, specifically the UNSC frigate composition, as well as some of his work on Madrigal, has reached out to me and has volunteered to start making some wonderful compositions for my map Gao. So Gao hasn't been updated in ages. However, I have been working this past week and a half with him, getting Gao back up to date, getting everything sorted out on my new PC, and getting stuff fixed up. And we have some wonderful assets to show off for Gao. This includes some also not released Optray assets from Bradster. So we have his incomplete farmhouse. There is technically 2 farmhouses in the files from him that haven't been completed. However, one of them actually has collision and can take shots and everything, whereas the other one has no collision. You just walk through it. So the one that is actually functional to some extent, even if it's not fully functioning, will be going into the map as a new and wonderful and fantastic looking asset. I'm very excited about that. In addition, there is a whole bunch of new areas in Gao to explore. This includes a kind of a bunker complex right in the city center. Very complex structure. It doesn't look like much from the outside. It's still much better looking than anything I built from the outside. But once you get on the inside, it becomes a very winding and somewhat confusing network of structures and stuff. Kind of an interesting area for a lot of missions and stuff like that. Very exciting nonetheless. And then we also have another area to show off, which is the new ship-breaking yards, replacing the Dogsville Hamlet on the map, which is going to have a composition variant of the Halberd Destroyer, which, like I said, is near and dear to my heart, is my favorite ship class. Aside from that, though, this is still very much work in progress. This hasn't been released to the Steam Workshop as of yet. However, with that being said, if you guys are interested in checking out these new updates for Gao as they're being worked on, If you head on over to my Discord, there is a GAU beta tester role that you can apply for over that way. And then you will get tagged, and any development updates and stuff that I do and push out before Steam release will get pushed to my Discord, and you can download them over there to check out any updates earlier on if you'd like. Aside from that, guys, that is everything for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a bunch of exciting stuff. I'm thrilled about all of it, and can't wait to see all this stuff in game and in my hands because it's all very cool stuff. Alright, guys, take it easy. I'll see you in the next one.